mental health is physical wealth.
That's probably what it was. That was mute. It was on mute. Imagine that. Whew, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. By the time it's time for the show, it's been a long day. So y'all have to pardon me with the volume. Um, whew. So again, it's March 11, 2023, and it's Black History Month, and then it's Women's Month directly behind that, which is awesome. Let's get it all in. So I've heard it said International Women's Month, or International Women's Historical Month, or history, or however they put it, but it's Women's Month, period. That's all I'm saying. So we're going to talk about it. Hopefully you caught the other two shows that I did last week talking about Eve. I'm just going to keep building from there. I talk with my hands, so it's a little difficult to have a mic right there in your face. But my mother was like, oh, I can't hear you. So I'm going to have to speak up. And there was some other feedback that said that they couldn't hear me. But I listened to my mama. So there that is. So anyway, I posted on Facebook. I don't know if everyone that views this has seen the Facebook post, but I posted, women have a uniquely special perspective of life. I'm trying to read this without my reading glasses. Imagine that. I'm old enough to need reading glasses. Anyway, life as a human, first, woman. So the uniquely perspectives I listed as life as a human being as first woman, life as the experience of God and the Holy Trinity. I'm gonna talk about it more. Life as living on earth as a helpmeet, life as nurturing and birthing all nations, life as speaking life into all things to nurture, inspire, encourage, unite, reprimand, reproach, correct, guide, love, teach, to be kings and queens, and dare to continue to learn herself and to grow herself. Now we're going to talk about it. Okay, so when I make statements on this social media broadcast, I make the statements that I am not saying that I agree with what's been conditioned to be followed. So that's deep. Might have to watch that again and get the understanding of that. But I encourage you for mental health to watch at least a couple of times so you can understand. Sometimes I say some things, I use words that can be used or understood in different ways. So you really have to try a little to focus on what the words are saying. And I'm going to show you that in this show today. So when I make statements on these broadcasts on social media broadcasts. I'm not saying I agree with what's being conditioned to be followed. There's multiple paths. The conditioned way, that's the way people are being conditioned to follow, and then there's the spiritual way. Both ways have multiple paths. In our existence, we have free will. That's why it's multiple paths. Our free will creates multiple paths in the spiritual and the conditioned way. This is the holistic nature in which I base my method of reaching out to help with global mental health and helping the elite understand the invaluable wealth in facts versus gaslighting or twisting narratives. There is substantial wealth in gaslighting. We can see that. And foolery. There's a lot of money in that. But history also shows that there's countless value in facts. Facts are invaluable wealth. We were conditioned, and now we must travel the right way, not the conditioned way, because we're globally growing poor. I mentioned in a couple of episodes that, there's been studies and scholars who have stated in peer-reviewed studies, and they're going around, the world telling everybody how the global economy is failing or threatening to crash. That's why I'm telling you this. This is why I come on to try to bring the perspective online. It is not Tina's perspective. And some of the things I agree with, you have to ask me. That's why this is an interactive show. Ask me questions. Don't assume. Hey, Daddy Lee and Mama Charlotte. Thank you for being here. Stay tuned. Make sure you comment. Keep me right. Hey, Jackie, I appreciate you being here. Loved your show. You one strong sister. I'm glad to see you out there doing something. You know what I'm saying? Doing it. Hey, Anthony, thank you for coming. Please, everybody, stay tuned and stay in the comments so you can keep me straight, and ask if those are my ideas or if those are things that I've seen in studies or heard from groups of people, or those elective organizations that represent the voices of those communities. So there's that. So make sure you check it out. Now I have a couple of things I'm trying to get into. I want to talk about the in history we see the woman Mary. I talked about Eve before. Now we're going to talk about Mary. Mary, as is in the Bible of Luke. A lot of people in America read the Bible, and even overseas, Eastern faiths do read the Bible. So we have in Luke chapter 1, verse 35, where they are talking about a lot about Mary. Mary is is Jesus' mama. That's a mama. So Mary experienced a Trinitarian work of the I am. She had a Trinitarian. She had an experience with the Holy Trinity that is different than any other way that any other man has ever experienced it before, because he can't experience it that way. That's why. So we see how Mary had to have a conversation that took place, and it elaborated on her free will. A lot, they kind of keep going over that because men like to say, hey, this woman gonna just do what I want her to do. She has free will. She can or may not. So if God gave her option and came up to her, it was like, look, I need you to agree with, doing this. And she said, look, if I have a baby, I pop up pregnant, I ain't never had sex with no man, this gonna be a problem. Not only that, but I'm not married, so I'm not supposed to have sex with nobody. Now you want me to pop up pregnant? Come on now, Jesus, fix it. Now she had to birth Jesus in order for him to fix it, though. So Mary was like, you know what? Okay, I do this. So Mary's free will allotted the opportunity for us to say things like Jesus fix it, for us to say things like, oh, God in flesh, or oh, God don't love us, he don't know this flesh, he's God, he can't know this flesh. See how God knew you was gonna say that? And he was like, look, in order for you to understand that, yes, I do understand, I'm going to give you an example. Now, he already gave you the example of how he had to communicate with man by taking Adam's rib and saying, look, here, you'll never forget what this is about because I took a whole rib to show you, to help you to understand. Meanwhile, here we are generations later, still trying to understand that a woman is a help meet. We're gonna make sense of it today a little bit though. So stay tuned. So I'm paraphrasing, I don't quote. So you're gonna have to get that part. My mama, if you saw in the last episode, she was like, refer to the Bible. So I'm gonna try to make it clearer, the distinctions, what I'm saying between what somebody else or whoever it is that said it. But in Luke 1:38, it was said, behold, the handmaid of the Lord. And in that, they're trying to bring attention. They don't have a lot of time to write a whole bunch. So they're trying to bring out the attention to emphasize that we are trying to get an understanding with this woman's free will. We're not trying to force her to do anything. Just because that's what she's here for doesn't mean that she has to do that. Okay, so there's that. Divine grace does not destroy human free will. It reaffirms it. So it's not saying I'm forcing you to do anything. Imagine that. Look how many times you see a woman being forced to do something or aggressively persuaded. Let's say it that way. So I'm not as controversial. Anyway, Mary's cousin was barren, but God blessed her to carry a baby. Maybe Mary came around her cousin Elizabeth and was like, "Hey, cuz, I'm, God," because she wanted to tell them what, Mary was presented with a proposition, and now she's got to find a safe haven to go to so that this thing can manifest in her womb. And Elizabeth was barren, but now she's pregnant. And it's like, I see God, so I'm going to go and follow where I know God is and where God's working and where he's moving. And when she spoke to Elizabeth, the baby leapt into her womb and praised God. And it's like, man, what is going on? And that was just something from, what the Bible is saying. It's like we still don't understand. I go back and watch my video where I said man cannot understand fully what's happening with a few things: the human brain, a woman's womb, and that woman's powerful of, persuasion, her method of persuasion. Go back and look at that because there's certain words I'm just not going to use. Anyway, and what's the power of her persuasion? Her feminine nature. Okay, so we'll put it at that. So God knew Elizabeth would not let anybody tell her anything different of what her assignment was as a mother, as a woman who is carrying a baby. When she knew she was barren, she knew she couldn't carry no kids. Now you got everybody else coming up in your ear telling you what you should do. She knew God blessed her. So when it was time for the baby to be born, everybody is happy around her, gathered around her. Oh, you got a baby, you got a baby. How wonderful. And then she births this baby and everybody's around and all gleeful and everything. And like, oh girl, you should name this baby after your husband. You should name him Zachariah. He should be Zachariah the whatever. I don't know, the second or junior. And she was like, don't tell me what I should name the blessing that God gave me when I know it wasn't nothing but God. Yes, he blessed the baby to come through Zachariah, but he also understood that I'm not going to let nobody take the glory away, because if he takes the glory away, then I don't have the blessing. So she said that she was going to name that baby John. And the moment she named his name, that baby, though she just pushed him out of her womb, out of the birth canal, and that baby, soon as she said that baby name, that baby spoke words, started to praise God. And let me tell you how significant that is. A lot of people, nowadays they say things like, oh, babies can't talk, babies can't this, that, and the third. And that's the conditioned way. But we see historically, especially as women, it's Women's Month, right? I'm going to tell it from a woman's perspective because we don't get that vocalization. So we seeing as a woman, we have a different assignment. Our assignment is different, or our task or our purpose. And then go back and watch those videos where I said a woman's purpose was a help meet. She wasn't just the matter of the fact that she was the second person and the last thing ever created. It was the matter of the fact that the thought that God put into it in order to manifest something that's going to cover everything. Think about that. When he wrote, when he created woman, he broke the mold. He was like, I'm done. I am myself. We are the only ones that have to acknowledge and fully understand how he outdid himself. Like, we can't though, because he put a brain in everything, and we still can't really diagnose the brain. Scientists, scholars, academia, nobody can really figure that out. Just like you can't figure out the woman's womb, just like you can't figure out the woman's vaginal canal, where it's like, man, that thing doing some things, and we just can't figure out even to replicate it, even to try. And a vaginal canal is not an anal canal. So it's something that's going on that's different, but they're both canals that people connect with and understand in the various ways that they understand. You got to understand that it's some things that we just won't be able to understand, especially if we only looking at it from a male's perspective. We need more good women out here that's going to say some things from their perspective. Yes, women have a special assignment. Yes. And it's like we doing a help me. Do you understand? A help me is not a secondary assignment, but it's like the ultimate assignment. We got to carry a lot. The man was supposed to do so many things, and now the woman coming to help him do all of that and birth all nations. Come on now. Yes, sis, our strength is internal. Look, let me show you something. It's not just that it's internal. For you will see a woman and she'll be outside on the external beautiful, but internally she got a nasty attitude, she got nasty habits, and she's not trying to change those. She's just telling you excuse her and just accept her for who she is, but it's not rubbing you the right way. But some other dude looking at her like, man, now that's a real woman. Meanwhile, it's what's on the inside of her that's shining on the outside as well, and that's what either attracts, makes it detract. Like, I'm not attracted to that. No, I'm attracted to that. And you got to respect that sort of dance that's going on. But back to Mary and Elizabeth, we saw how in reality it shook everybody to see this baby do that. And historically, we've seen how people will be like, well, man, Jesus, well, what kind of person is this? Command the wind that the wind should listen. Command the rain that the rain should listen. Command the sea that the sea should stop moving underneath his feet so he can walk on the water. And it's like, where was he going? Where was Jesus coming from? When I was a little girl, I used to wonder, where was Jesus coming from that he had these men waiting on the boat, told them, oh, y'all go ahead. And this the only method of travel that he can go. And he done told these dudes, go ahead, I'll catch up. And what he gonna do? How he gonna catch up? They said the same thing. I'm just saying, this is what they were saying in the Bible. How Jesus gonna catch up? Oh, well, y'all heard them. Let's get underway. So they started to get underway, and it started to rain and everything. They was like, "Ooh, Jesus is not gonna make it. I don't know how he gonna get here. If he coming on a little dinghy or a little piece of floating wood, I don't know how he gonna get here. But he ain't gonna get here with all this rain." And they shook because Jesus walked on the water. Where was he coming from? He was coming from a place where he had told some people what's up, what the deal is. How he told them the spiritual way, as put it, and he didn't have to tarry with them long. But he came to tarry with those who did not understand what was going on, who did not. Eddie on here, he say he was coming from Africa. Yes, he was coming from Africa. Hey, how you doing? I appreciate you being here. Make sure you stay tuned. So from him coming from Africa, it was the whole matter of the fact that he was like, we have some place to go. It wasn't Africa, traveling to Africa, but he said, look, everybody got to know. So he's not just sticking to one particular group of people, not one particular color of skin, one particular orthodox way. Okay. And I said before, it was like you we see orthodoxy as something that we all have to follow. But who created orthodoxy? I'm not saying that we don't have to follow. I'm saying who created it? Man created it. That's why it was important for you to go back to that other video where I talked about Eve, where I'm saying that God thought of his own after he observed man, and he said, look, it's not good for man to be alone. He saw something, and he saw that he had gave Adam. He said, well, go ahead, you do what you're doing. And then he said, well, you doing something. And he was like, well, it's a particular way I want these things to go and work out. So let me send you some help. And he said, I'm going to create you a help meet. And then he said, help Adam. So he's called her a label, help meet woman. He created woman. And he told Adam to name her. So Adam got to name her, and he got to give her an assignment. But she already had an assignment. So she got two assignments. The one she was created for by God, and the one she was ordained on the orthodox way and methodology of man, and how man wants these things to go. I'm going to get into it a little bit more in the show. So stay tuned. I'm going to try. The show ain't that long. Hey, sis, I appreciate you being here. Stay tuned. So people tell you the answers, but you're not hearing it because it's vague. And that's because a lot of times we use words in language. Formal language is a little bit contradicted to formal logic. And because it's vague, that's why it's contradicted to formal logic. We try to ask for clarity from the person who is speaking to us. And it's like you ask for clarity and they lie to your face, and that creates, they lie to your face because they cowards. They realize you understood something they didn't really want you to understand because they were trying to be vague. And then they lie to your face like cowards, which creates a cognitive dissonance, which then leads you to behave just as erratically as your mental space actually is. But people can't see it, but they're manifesting your behavior as a result of gaslighting, which is really highly trending. That's a mouthful. So I know some people might need to go back and watch this same episode a couple of times, but I got to keep moving forward. But look at that show where they have, I think, the man and the woman standing at the altar, and the woman is waiting for the man to do the vows and say, I do, or whatever. And he instead says, look, I know you a good woman. I know you my good thing, but why should I say yes now? I know you're going to wait for me. Now, see, that messed me all up. That's just messed up, because that is a conditioned mentality. That is not facts. That is not the way things should be. That's not the way it should go. But she's going to fully support that with her actions, because people have done that time and time again. Men have been pushing his helpmeet away since the first time he failed to see past his boner, because he's like, you're gonna take care of it anyway. So what I need to, I'll do what I gotta do. See, that's a significant motivator. Well, and that's what people don't understand. That's a significant motivator. The woman don't understand fully. The man understands. So I'm speaking to the women because this is Women's Month. So he doesn't take her seriously with things outside of sex. A lot of women have said it. I'm repeating it. And I agree. And a lot of cis men don't. A lot of men. But good men do. I'm just saying. But if she's phenomenal with sex, then imagine what else she can do. I'm going to show you something about that in a minute. You say she's if she cramps up, she'll nuke everybody if she's president. I've heard that so many times, and I'm like, that's so absurd. Now, it was funny and entertaining, that sliding, but that's not nowhere near true. That's a conditioned mentality that's actually false and wayward, and it's conditioning people to have this cognitive dissonance where we're seeing that it was at first a gradual decline in economic wealth, but now it's global, and it's like, man, it's really significant, and it's growing like a dark mass in the human brain that they call dementia. Why I say that, like we're forgetting some vital and important things that we need not forget. But here we go. Uh, I've not seen a better woman to be an American president outside of Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama. Yeah, I know there's a current female running for president, but I said what I said, and there's reasons why I said what I said. You want to keep trying to grab folks that aren't at these levels of understanding, of these levels of exhibited um, um, ability. There we go. Let me put it that way. Meanwhile, you previously hired a man you didn't respect enough to allow him to sit at the big kids' table, let alone be in the room when adults are talking, when grown men are talking. I'm just saying, because this is what people have said, and this is what I've seen. So that aspect of it, I would like to emphasize, because yeah, you allowed that to happen, but you want to say that women who exhibit themselves to be above the level that you can even comprehend that their abilities are capable of manifesting, to include financially producing, but you try to disqualify them like they can't do what you know they can do, and they're gonna outdo. They definitely would have outdone what we saw with the person who you hired. And then everybody's talking about globally, people were saying, well, that's a joke, America's a joke. Now I'm just saying it, you can go look at it, you can look it up, but that's what it was. So I'm going to tell you what a couple of other people have said. Bishop J.A.T. Robinson said the act of faith is a constant dialogue with doubt. That's significant, because that's what we're doing when we keeping women away from what they should and could be doing, and failing to realize their potential. Faith is a principle of questioning and struggle before it becomes a principle of certitude and peace. That's what Thompson Morton said. Faith is a personal relationship with God, incomplete and flattering, mysterious but real, not as a theory or an abstract principle, but as a person. Not like reducing God to human, but understanding God's feelings is similar to human feelings. To understand we're made of God's image. So we also understand our loved ones, because we're relating, and that's being used as an example to draw understanding. Though we shouldn't lean to our own understanding, he wants us to have some sort of an understanding, because we have free will. So he wants to combine that free will with your understanding so you can make better decisions. But anyway, love comes with doubt sometimes, and constant reaffirming, but it's a mutual love regardless of who loves who more. This helps our mental health. We understand we love the woman, but we kind of push her away because we don't want certain things from her. We only want a particular thing from a particular woman, but that is not what it was about. The assignment was one woman was created. So that tells you right there, one is enough. You guys out here getting a whole team. Meanwhile, she the one need a whole team. But I'm gonna leave that alone. People hate without really knowing the truth about the ones they hate. Same with love. Love without having complete knowledge of the person love is the same thing. You loving them without really knowing too many details about them. Personally, loving a person of your own affection is a journey. Okay, we're not gonna know everything, not right off at first. A personal journey, and lovingly, you take mystery, angry, sins, you take all of that, and you love anyway. And you keep on trying to work through it. So via personal love and our journey to love more, learn God as we learn anyone else. It is not something that's a finite understanding. It's a journey. We have to keep on going through. And women understand that. What Jackie say? I missed something. We definitely cannot lean on our own understanding. That's true. Because our emotions keep changing. It's not just women. It's men. They get in their feelings. They really emotional. How can you know? Because they so vulnerable. They so emotional and vulnerable that they won't even tell you certain things because they so sensitive. And if you say something about that one thing they were vulnerable about, they shut completely down. That's vulnerable. That's sensitive. But you try to make it seem like it's only women. Hey Tony, it's all right. It's recorded. You can watch the recording. Hey Natasha, how you doing? I appreciate the love, sis. Eddie says it doesn't what it don't see femininity as masculinity as opponents of each other in faith and God. Yeah, God don't see, he don't see it like, he doesn't see it as a gender thing. He sees it as this is what was required in order for you to feel or complete the assignment, fulfill the assignment in the manner in which he wanted you to fulfill it. So in that, he made the yin yang. He made what you needed. You have this. Now you're going to have this to combine with that. I wish we returned the time before the war of the sexes. I know, right? Trying to get there. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Love is the second greatest. Hello, say it. The second greatest commandment. They don't know the significance of that. That's why hate is so strong. And we don't understand why hate is so strong and trended so hard. But it will not beat love because it cannot. Man-made hate. Hate was a perspective of was, because sometimes we can feel like God is loving on us with this tough love, and it can feel like hate. Stop making it about who is better. You are unique. Everybody is unique, and everybody has something uniquely special to offer. That is why you cannot be duplicated, replaced, or replicated. Even if somebody tries to succeed you, you cannot be replaced. I said that in a couple of shows. Go back and watch all the videos. Tony Briscoe, I think I deleted your friend request. My bad. Uh-oh. Look, I have big fingers. I comment on shows through my phone. Oh, it's okay. I don't care about typos. That's why when I see something, I try not to read it verbatim if I think that it may be a typo. You don't have to watch quietly. You can keep on commenting. This is an interactive show. Please, every free to comment. So here we have a slideshow I want you to see to understand just a little bit better. Organizational governance. Okay, we have an organizational governance. The reason I'm stumbling on it because it's like, man, I'm so sick of all these titles. The titles of everything keep changing. First you a sister, first you a female dog, then you a chick, and then I because I'm not calling no woman a female dog. I say chick because yeah, you go with everything, honey. Looks like chicken, okay? But anyway, so it's like we keep changing labels. So it's difficult to keep up with the most trendy label that encompasses everything because they keep on trying so hard to keep that division and other numeratives that divide. So I'm not down with these labels. Okay. Here we have policy. In the organizational governance, we have policy, which requires and restricts what or why a thing should be done or allowed. Should be. And I said it that way for a reason. Then we have the standards of the policy, which is the level of performance, how something should be done. We're going to keep on going because this is man's mythology. Okay, so then we have procedures, which equals the details of how. It details the how because there's a method in which people want you to use and a way that they're conditioning you to go. So it's how something should be done. And then we have the guidelines. Ah, here we go. The guidelines are the suggestions for accomplishing tasks, fundamental requirements of risk, threats. Let me try to blow this up a little bit. Likelihood and now I can't see it all because I was the little tiny fine print. And impacts of an analysis. Woo, we got through that one. We got through that one. So, what does all of that mean? Man understands what that means. Okay, man understands what it means to what is this? Let me see. I can get that back to being small again. See, this just it's not gonna work for me. It's just not gonna work out for me. But man understands what that means. I just wanted you to read that so you could see. Okay, here we go. There it is. Okay, but the thing is, okay, there we go. So, what does it mean for the threats? We're looking at the threats as outside influences that can sway people away from the conditioned way that people want you to go and travel the right way. Does that make sense now? Yeah, I'm saying that there's a right and wrong way, but the paths, you can have a uniquely different way of doing something and going away. But the matter of the fact is, you're eventually going to go back and travel the lane, though they're parallel. You're going to travel the lane of the right way because that's just the way it is. You have a different route of getting there, but that's what it is. So woman equals help meet, help make the governance of men's orthodoxy or organizational governances function the right way. Imagine that. Imagine that. That's what our role are to do in this existence, in this capacity. So it's just like, man, we still trying to figure that out. I just said it real plainly here. Woman equals help meet, help make the guidances of man's orthodoxy or organizational governances function the right way. Man gonna listen to you. That's why he gave you that method of persuasion. So here we can see how it's important for women to have the role that they're intended to be helpful. Okay, that's the intended role. Here we see Dr. Grace Hopper, who is Women's Month. So I'm gonna talk about. So she was a mathematician and a Commodore in the United States Navy, who wrote a paper that described how to program a computer with symbolic notation instead of the detailed machine language that had been used. Now, that's what they say, but I'm gonna break it down so you can understand it today. So basically what she took ones and O's and she put it in a mathematical equation because man was conditioned to understand 1 + 2 = 3. So what she did was she said, well, I'm going to put it like this so you can understand it better. Why? Because she saw that there was a problem. Man created this thing that's like a human brain, but not as complex. And he put it in as a computer. And he said, well, this is going to help us in organizational governance. There we go. It's coming together now, isn't it? So here we go with, okay, we don't, man is all men, and all these men in this room. And this woman comes into the room and she says, hey, I've been looking at this. Let's do it like this. What you think about that? Now, Dr. Harper helped Dr. Hopper helped develop high-level computerized businesses, accomplished language introduced in the 1960s, and Cobalt uses human phrases and runs on most computers, making it one of the more widely used languages in the entire world. All the nations speak different dialects and forms of language. So that's why it was significant that Help Meet had accomplished such a unique dynamic goal. But yet, we're not talking about it. We make women feel like computers is something only a man could do. We make women feel like, oh, we really got to find a way to motivate women to be computer engineers because y'all held her down for so long. Y'all said some of the most discouraging things about her for so long that she kind of started to believe it, even though it created a cognitive dissonance. And then you wonder why that woman acting crazy. So you say, she acting crazy. We help heal every little piece, yes, and that's necessary. That's our role. That's our role. Oh, so Eddie said Grace is the mother of Navy cryptology. However, her code is based on African logic code stolen by Europeans. He's just saying. He's saying it because he wrote 2 papers on Hopper. I'm I'm just saying I'm just saying the aspect of women, and the reason why I'm saying it that way is because we get into a debate about who stole what, who did what, and I get it. You just saying, I understand. You just saying, and I get it. This is what was said, so he's conveying what was said, and he's sharing what was said. So it's not to say that he is in agreement with it or is in alignment with what was done. It's the matter of the fact that you just reporting what happened. Just like in history, newspapers used to report fiction. They used to write fiction and spread it around. You wonder why comic books are so popular, because at one point in time, newspapers used to have that method. And yes, in that slide, I did say methodology for a reason. It's deep. But anyway, so comic books had that same ideology, and it continued after the fact that when newspapers were reporting fiction, but during women's suffrages through one of the wars, the women were mostly factory workers, and they were oppressed due to the particular demands on the women who had to work in these factories, because y'all throwing all these men bodies at a war that's like you killing them. As soon as they get out there, they dead or they're maimed or something's wrong where they're coming back broken and they can't fight anymore. And then the women are like, well, he can't even stand to operate these machines in the warehouse. Well, while he's absent, we don't have enough bodies here in order to maintain home and hold it down at home. So we needed women to step up into that role. There we go with that help me. She had to be strong enough to work in those factories. She had to be woman enough to still be a woman at home and mother them children and birth them babies, and still go to work in them factories and keep that factory and the warehouses going to keep the local economy going. That's a help me. Y'all keep on saying things and not that validate not paying her worth. And now women are saying, pay me, I'm worth it. She worth more than what you paying her. She worth more than what you speaking out into existence. She's worth more than what you'll ever give her credit for, because you don't have the finances to afford her, if we gonna really be real with it. I'm just gonna say it. That's my opinion. You don't have the money to afford her. I think about the board, the judge. Yeah, it's so many people. And it's like we try not to emphasize it, and then we reduce it down to saying it 1 month out of 12. 1 month out of 12. Well, we give you 31 days. It's more than what we gave to Black history. I'm just saying, a helpmeet deserves to be spoken of at the same ratio that you are speaking about men, if not more. How about that? Now that's my opinion. How about that? She deserves it because she's doing a lot. She is your help. And it's not like you understanding it as a general whole. The good men understand it, whereas the men who are narcissistic, they can't see it. They can't see the reason why he really narcissistic is because it's a strong woman. And let's say it, let's put it out there. It's a strong woman that's helping to feed that man ego, to support that man and turn around that man narcissistic. I'm just saying, you can't take what he gonna do with it. He his own person. But it's the matter of the fact that it's like, a good man, his mentality, his perspective is different from somebody who is not as good of a man, who needs a little bit more work to bring that innate good out of him. So it's like a good man automatically, and it's historical that they have been saying, yes, this is what good women do. This is what we should be doing with women. But it's them who had a voice. Oftentimes they like, man, I ain't got time for this foolishness. I don't have time for this foolery. I don't have time for this gaslighting. I'm not going to be bothered with it. I'm going to say what I said, and the facts stand unchanged, unaltered. So I ain't got nothing else to say. But meanwhile, this ignorance is perpetuating and trending because all it takes is for the good person to be silent and this foolery to keep running their mouth. It used to be that when a wise elder enter a room, that foolish dude over there shut it up because he don't want to be embarrassed. He don't want to be belittled because the facts are so invaluable that it creates a cloud over everything else. Now you chipping away, having just benefited financially off of the foolishness and off of the gaslighting and twisting of the narratives. How much more can you prosper from the facts? From the facts, how much more? Eddie says, we're going to be real with it. Let's point out that this was a European understanding of women. Women were leaders, queens, teachers, and homemakers in early African history. My book points that out. I'm just saying. Eddie has a book. I think you should read it. It's written differently, but it's written which incorporates a homeschool mentality for helping people, helping readers to understand what they are reading and to commit it to memory and trigger critical thinking skills and help you to put some ones and O's together in a mathematical equation that makes most sense to you in the modern era that you're in. I'm just saying it because it's already been said. It's in different ways and by people, regardless of who stole what. It's been said and it's been proven. And that's why those facts can be stolen or coveted and applied in a different manner in which you put somebody else's name on it. But guess what? It can't hold enough water and enough weight to carry you across that whole ocean. When they building all these waters and all these flotation devices, and they coming to find, or even submersible devices, and they coming to find it's inadequate purpose in which it's intended. Facts. You can't change them. You can't alter it. It just stands alone. You don't have to compliment it or nothing. It just is what it is. And the matter of the fact is, woman is help meet. Let's put that back on here. So what does it mean? Woman equals help meet. Help meet equals helpful. Okay. Woman understands suggestions of what should be, but they also understand the primary goal to be accomplished. So women make helpful contributions toward overall goal to be accomplished. The goals need to be accomplished regardless of what's trending, regardless of the set structures or man's orthodoxy and mythology, which is equals to being helpful. You got that? I know it's a lot. It's a lot to digest. This is recorded though. Come back and watch it as many times as you need to in order to understand what's being said. Tell them, sweetie, I'm going to be quiet again. No, you're not. Stop lying. You're going to keep on helping me out. Let's do this. See, that's the thing. I don't get angry, Eddie, when he gives that push and pull. I love that song and dance. I love that song and dance because I need that to grow me. I'm not finished learning. I'm not finished growing. I'm not finished with anything. So that push and pull thing that we do with one another, I love it when my sisters come on and help me and do that push and pull thing. I love the fact that my mama kept on saying, go back to the Bible. Come on now, you got to go back. I love that because show me what you're talking about. Work with it. Hey, Jackie. Now I love Jackie because she do some things. Amen, sis. Have to get on the line for prayer. Go ahead, sis. Awesome show. We'll talk. No doubt. Every time you get on, I'm gonna talk to you. But that prayer thing, that prayer life changed some things. Prayer changes things. It helps some mentality. And a woman knows that it helps the mentality. So it's the manifestation of what is said that a man believeth, so is he. Is helping to condition your mentality to be in alignment, to be in full alignment with your body and the facts, your mind and the facts. And then when your mind and the facts are outside of alignment, that's where you have that cognitive dissonance. That's where you have the problem where you're erratic in your behavior because you don't know whether you're coming or going, whether you're going or coming, whether you up or down. You don't know. And that's the problem. That's why we have this global mental health crisis. Global. Tony says, gearing up for Message Monday. Prayer. Yes, go ahead. Tony Briscoe has a Message Monday show that he does every Monday, right after my show, actually. So see if you can go ahead and watch that if you got time. Him and Gary have some really good points that they make on their show. I enjoy watching their show whenever I have the time. But the reason why I wanted to emphasize these things for Women's Month is because oftentimes we're thinking that the targeted group is the one that we're targeting. That's not true. That is not true. It's nowhere near true. You gotta, and then it's like when they tell that little lie, they look at you to see, are you gonna say, can you clarify? And then when you ask, well, that's vague. Can you clarify that? They're going to lie to your face because what you don't understand is that if you know that you're targeting someone in a negative way and you go along with that, they understand right then and there you deserve everything that's coming to them. So they targeting you too, and you just don't know it. You don't understand it. You don't realize it. And then that cognitive dissonance set in, and then you start acting erratic, and you think asking for a raise, asking for a promotion, asking for more money is going to get you somewhere, and it does not get you where you're trying to be. Why? Because it wasn't designed to be that way. Do you understand that? You have to, what you say? Drop a link, Tony. I don't know what that means. But Tony, Eddie said drop a link. So we have to, and I'm always willing to, come on and, talk about it on anybody's show. And I'm always willing to have other people that I see are qualified to speak in the way that I don't just have anybody on my show. I'm just going to say it because I don't even give air or opportunity to a whole lot of different people. I see what you're about. And then once I see, it's like, I can't rock with it unless it's entertainment. If it's purely entertainment and I'm down for being tickles and giggles, then yeah, we're tickles and giggles. But on this show, I would like to provide the guided perspective that's required for these times, because gaslighting and twisting the narrative has been done so many times. We are faster towards the global economy crash that scholars and academia has been writing about for so long and studying and researching and trying to get ahead of. They thought, oh, well, we have to educate people, so let's pour more money into the educational system. Let's provide methods outside of the brick and mortar school because it's been tested and tried and it's successful. Let's pour into virtual online schoolings where you could do it that way. So we've been trying to fix it, but you need that help me. You need that help meet, bruh. You can't do it alone. You need that help meet, and that help meet is going to do some things. It's going to improve it to make it work the right way. What's the right way? The way that it was intended to work, not the way it's functioning, not the systematic method in which it is going and conditioned to go, but it's going to go the way. And what's the right way? Well, we need more funds, don't we? We need new money, not this same old money. We keep on recycling this old money because we recycling old things in the old ways, and we're not applying the holistic understanding and ideas, because we cut ourselves off at half. We cut ourselves off at half because we're letting the help meet. Let the help meet do what she's supposed to do. Be a help meet. The global mental health can be improved if we start to more often elaborate and allow the help meet to do what they do. You don't want to broadcast what she's doing because somebody might take her. If somebody can take her, she's not a thing. She's not a toy. She's a person. She has a will. Somebody don't have to take her. She can just walk away. There's that. You just don't want to have to feel like you're constantly reaffirming her that you are supportive to her, that you are there for her, that you can do for her what nobody else can do for her. But you don't have to do that. All you have to know is she loves you. Stop being so afraid to lose her that you don't tell other people what she's doing, but you got her by your side. That's your good thing. They say it's a good thing for a reason. I'm just saying. Some people haven't experienced that because they have a mentality that they don't even want to deal with a female. They don't even want to be bothered with a woman. But it's called a good thing by people who understand what a good thing is. It's called a good thing because you have to experience it in order to understand. It can bring you to about the brink of death and you come back to life, full-fledged life, motivated to be persuaded some more. Okay, so stop limiting her to just that. If she can do that, she could probably do some really far more profound things but you limited her. Every time a woman is given the opportunity and the voice, look at Queen Sheba. Read Eddie's book. Go get it. It's on his page, Eddie Phillips on Facebook. Eddie, drop the link to your book up in this so people can see the link. And Tony dropped the link already. So you have to understand that people are asking questions. People are looking for the answers. People are trying hard because their mental health is failed at a point where it's like a global outcry. What are we doing wrong? Make it make sense. Something is not right at such a level that I can no longer ignore it. What is it? I'm telling you what it is. Because it's Women's Month. And because I've been saying it for quite some time, but I'm using this as an opportunity and I'm going to keep doing it regardless, because it's not a matter of the day, the calendar, what your expectations are. It's the matter of the fact it's a fact. Facts don't change just because of your what is it? Your feelings, your emotions, your mental state, your tone of voice, what you want, what you don't want. Facts are what they are for a reason. And they're like that because it's important for your mental health. Now, Eddie has dropped the link to his book here. Please make sure you go and get it so you can understand these statements are not exclusive to the person or persons who are conveying the information, who are telling you what's going on, who's telling you what has been found, what the facts are. We show you these are the facts, and these are the facts because this is how we found the facts. This is how we come to understand these things. This is what we're seeing that's factual and unchanging. So it'll improve your mental health. And that's really the objective, to improve your mental health so you can have physical wealth. Why is that? Because mental health is physical wealth. Teddy, take us out.